Hey guys, how are you? So this is a 24-25 Toyota Hilux Rogue in the 48V spec, so what they call overseas a mild hybrid. Now there's been quite a few reviews of the later model Hilux, including the Rogue, so I'm not going to go through all of that with you, but what I will do is I'll talk to you about some of the things that I find are really good with it and some of the things that are not so good with it, and I'll put some links in the video so that to other people's videos so that you can go through full reviews and rundowns on the Rogue. But this is my car and I use it for carting my kayaks around for kayak fishing, so I will also go through and show you exactly how I do that and why I've got it set up the way I have it, instead of what I used to do with my previous utes where I would have a canopy on the back, drawers and all the rest of it. I think what I've done here works better for me, and it was a decision I made halfway through last year. I've now got 20,000 Ks on the car. I've used it for fishing tournaments, I used it for plenty of trips, camped out of it and so on. I take my wife and I go away with it on weekends. It's a great bit of kit, and I think there are some very many plus points about this car. So stay tuned and we'll do a quick walkthrough on the car. I'll show you how I do the kayak stuff with it, and I'll talk to you about the good bits, the bits that some people aren't telling you, so some of the things that operate on the car that no one tells you, and the bits that I don't think are so good, and that the ones that I've done something about and the ones that I'm going to do something about. So let's go for a walk. Okay, let's start, shall we, at the front. What do I like about it? I think the biggest thing for me is the track. Is this and the GR Sport are the only two models of Hilux that have such a wide stance on them. So they're, you can see it there. So the difference in the track, so from there to there, basically, is 140 mil extra than a standard Hilux, and they achieve this by using different front arms. So the arms are longer and they got different struts and so on. What else is really impressive to me about it that you don't see in normal reviews is the front brake upgrade that they did, slightly larger discs, 4-pot calipers, and the rear brake upgrade, which is disc brakes. So the other thing in the latest version of the Rogue, so there's only two models of the wide body Rogue. So again, you can see just how wide it is there. The other difference in the second iterative the wide body Rogue is that, so they have gas struts that help you. They still have the marine carpet. This is actually a really comfortable tailgate to sit on, and you can see I do a bit of travelling over dirt roads. I do a fair bit actually, and the seals that they're using are really good, keeping the dust at bay, and it's actually easy to lift the tailgate up with one hand with the help of those struts as well. Now this is the other thing with the Rogue, the other reason that I got it is that it has got this roller shutter, and I was in two minds with the roller shutter. I wasn't sure, but the roller shutter is fantastic. And something that reviewers don't tell you with the roller shutters is that you can open or close them using the remote. So everybody thinks that you need to press these buttons here on the back like that, but if you press the lock button or the unlock button and then press it again 1 second later, so if you do it too quick it won't work, but you've got to do it 1 second apart, it will either open or close the roller shutter for you. And the other big news part about that is that you can also do it from in the cabin with the lock button, right? So these buttons here, again, it's got to be a full second in between presses, but you can actually open or close the roller shutter from inside, or when you're walking up to or away from the car using the remote. And you don't see that in most of the reviews that they put out. Now, right, what have I done in terms of to carry my kayaks and gear? I'll throw a couple of photos up in a second so that you can see, but the two ways that I transport my kayaks is I either use the roof rack, and what I did was I got onto Facebook Marketplace and I got all the bits that I needed for about 120 bucks to put a Rhino rack set of bars and everything up here, along with the winch. And the winch allows me to crane the kayak up very easily, so I can lift I can lift a lightweight kayak up on my own, but there's two legs that hook onto here that come down. You'll see them in the photo, and the cable comes down here. I hook it to the kayak and I winch the kayak up onto the roof bars or winch it down. Makes it there's less effort involved in lifting. And I've put, so basically what I did was I went and bought 4 bars off a Facebook Marketplace from a guy that was selling them. Picked the 4 bars up for 100 bucks, picked up the crane assembly for 100 bucks, bought these, which are key locked on, and they fit into these tracks here, so I can remove these by unlocking them with keys at any time, so I can put big things in the tub and strap them down, or as you see, I tend to drive around with them on here like this, and I've got the aerial rigged up so that I can do that. Put the aerial up all the way. Paddles, shovels, whatever, go in these, and I can lock them on, so if I'm going away. Waterproof tub, or my wheels, and again, if you have a look at the photo, you'll see what I mean by that. Again, waterproof tub if I want, and some max tracks should I need them. So that makes it extremely universal, and the reason I like that is because with the Ranger, I had to, and the Tritons and that before, I always had canopies on them, and I'll show you a photo of that, and it meant that I was climbing in and out of the canopies all the time. Here, I don't have to. I can just get into the tub, and I can also pick up furniture for my wife, you know, cabinets, that sort of stuff, should I need to, simply by taking these off. And they take like literally a couple of minutes to get off. So that's a big bonus for how I use the Hilux, both for my fishing kayaks, but also for everyday use. Going to go away camping, really, really good. I prefer it to the canopies, I think. One thing that I have done is I've changed the rear shocks in it, and I'm about to do the front shocks. So I wasn't happy with how jarry it was in the back, and I got myself a set of Kel off-road rear shock absorbers, and it's made all the difference to the ride. It's a lot more comfortable and a lot better off-road, especially going up corrugations. Doesn't skip and bounce anywhere near as much, and yet it is more comfortable on the bitumen. The other thing that I've added is down the front here, which is this light bar here, and I'll put the links to all this stuff in the descriptor. So that's a kit, comes with the mounts, uses a steady light bar, comes with the switches, the wiring, the whole works. Took like 40 minutes to install. That's it, right? So really, really good. That's probably about it for my walk around of the Rogue. Let's dive to the cabin, shall we? All right, so inside the car, what have we got? So I've already done a quick video on these things. They went on the day I got the car. They're a neoprene and shark skin, neoprene and shark skin seat cover. These ones are made by Bull Ant seat covers. They come with a headrest, they come with a center console cover. They've been on the car since I got it. As I said, I've got about 20,000 Ks on it. These things are just fantastic. They're made to fit, including cars with airbags in the seats, and they sit straight over the seat. I never have an issue with them pulling off, even when I'm sliding in and out of the car. I get into this car sometimes absolutely filthy dirty, covered in sand, mud, crap, that sort of stuff, and you know, for 20,000 Ks and a few $100s of investment, these things are absolutely brilliant. They're absolutely fantastic. Love them. Having that on there softens up the really thinly foamed, if you like, piece of leatherette or whatever it is that's on the top of that underneath. That is actually quite firm. It's got a very thin piece of foam padding in between it and the plastic. So having that on top makes it much easier to rest your arm on. And these things protect the seats. As you just saw, these seats underneath are unmarked. Now the great thing about the car that comes with the car is the seats, the front seats are heated. And I've got to tell you, a long day on the water, fishing and paddling, makes a massive difference having heated seats. My wife's had heated seats for a while now. Now I've got them, and I'm not getting rid of them. The floor mats, well, I clean them every week. You can see what I mean about me being a bit of a grub. The way I climb in and out of the car on the dirt. One of my dislikes is that bangs on the hard plastic there as you're going along on bumpy roads and what have you. Drives me nuts. So I've stuck a foam rubber pad there to stop it from happening. It mostly fixes the problem. I probably should have positioned the pad slightly better. You can see it sits there like that. So it's not too bad now. Righto, what do we got in here? So the car only comes as an automatic. It does have a couple of really good things going for it. One is the mode select button. So the mode select button allows you to select, put it in sport mode, which what it does is it changes the change settings in the automatic transmission. It shortens things up, holds, it doesn't sort of run into the next gear at too lower revs. It also changes the parameters of the throttle pedal, so it doesn't generate any more horsepower. What it does do is it gives you a far sportier drive feel. Go back to the normal mode. So by turning that switch, you go to normal mode. That pretty much speaks for itself. And then you turn the switch one more setting and it takes you to economy mode. What I have found is economy mode is absolutely fantastic, especially when you're on the motorways. I did a recent trip where motorway from here to Sydney to Newcastle, and it averaged 7.4 litres to the 100. So as you can see at the moment, I'm averaging 10.5 around here is what I've been doing, but it averaged 7.4 litres to the 100. So pretty good mileage really for a fairly heavy vehicle. Alrighty, what else have we got that's different than normal? So the screen is standard across the whole model range, has been for a while. This one has a rather odd set of speakers up under the windscreen here, you can see, and then a whole bunch of other speakers around the cabin.
We deliver rent-free cylinders from Eden to
It gives actually really good sound. JBL, the sound out of this is really good. Can't complain about that. Go back to the other unusual feature about this one that only this one has, only this model, is I've moved it to four-wheel drive high. If I press multi-train select, it'll bring the icon up on the dash there. I then rotate it, so it takes it from auto, where it pre-selects what it thinks is the right conditions, to dirt, to sand, to mud, and to deep snow. Okay, so the other options are four-wheel drive low. We're still on the multi-select button, so again I'll rotate it and it takes it off auto, so it takes it into sand, mud or rock. Now I'll give you an example. What rock will do is when you go to accelerate, like now, I'm pressing a long way down on the accelerator pedal there, about halfway down, and it doesn't move. It doesn't. So what's happening is if you're bouncing over rocks and everything, your throttle pedal is not jumping up and down like a wild thing, or causing the car to jerk. So it's really handy when it does that. This is, and as I said, this is something that's not available in other models of the Hilux. It's the ability to change those things. All right, let's we'll take it out of four-wheel drive. So again, you put it in neutral before you start turning the buttons, and then we'll put it, turn multi-train select off. The other good things about it that I love, the cup holders are back, but not just the cup holder, you can actually slide that whole cup tray forward, giving you a compartment there rather than just a cup holder. So again, you just push that forward and you've got a compartment there. You put your wallet or whatever in there. As I said, the JBL speakers, fantastic. It does have wired in Apple Android, Apple CarPlay or the Android variation for it, which I'm actually using. You'd think I'd remember it. What I've done is I've got rid of the wired in component and I'm using one of these, say CarLink, and it just plugs into the USB port here and it connects everything up for me. It's fantastic, plug and play. What else? Touched on the seat covers, touched on the floor mats, UHF aerial mount, UHF microphone mount. This thing here custom made for the dashboard. You can buy them online. They're fantastic. I'll put a link up to the manufacturer. I think they're in Western Australia. Anyway, really good thing. Steering wheel is a leatherette. I'm not sure if they're genuine leather, but a leatherette anyway. Steering wheel, quite comfortable, hard, but that's okay because soft leather steering wheels don't typically wear very well, and this thing cops a bit of abuse in reality. So everything's on there, which is common across most of the range. What else do I love about it? It's the fuel economy. The fuel economy is really good. As I said, right at the moment it's sitting at 10.8 litres to the 100. I only filled up the other day and a couple of hills on the way home. The fuel economy, right, so 3 tanks, a couple of thousand kilometres, so 3 refills in that couple of thousand k's. A combination of highway motorway use. As I said, I was getting 7.4 litres per 100 kilometres. But I also included, there was a lot of off-road driving at the time, went up around Mudgee and Hill End and so on. Got a separate video on that. Back roads driving, a lot of hilly driving, and then back down to the coast and so on. We averaged across the 3 tanks. I ran the meter across the, and we averaged 8.4 litres per 100 kilometres. Fantastic, really good, across all those various terrains. Downside, it has an 80 litre fuel tank. The fuel gauge and the driving range are way off. So it's an 80 litre fuel tank, and when it gets down to a quarter on the fuel gauge, I can only fit at the most about 50 litres into the tank, and yet the driving range will be telling me I've only got about 120 kilometres left. And you do the maths in your own head, but none of that makes sense. I've spoken to the dealer about it. The dealer are telling me I've got it wrong. No, maybe I do. But at the end of the day, right, I've never been able to fit more than 50 litres, and sometimes a bit less, into the tank when the gauge says a quarter full and the driving range is sitting at around that 110, 120 kilometres remaining. And they're yet to tell me how to recalibrate the whole thing. So that's one of the things I don't like about it. And the wipers. Don't start me on the wipers. That's my pet hate. So the wipers. You would think that the wipers, which work alright, for an $80,000 vehicle, you would think that Toyota, what were you thinking? Surely you could have made it with auto sensing wipers. You got all the other crap, the sensors and everything on the windscreen up here, right? Seriously? No auto sensing wipers? You're kidding. Anyway, it's just one of those things. I guess the advantage is I can double press the lock or the unlock button and open the roller shutter while I'm sitting in the car, or use my remote to do it. Either one works. That's something that they don't publicise, don't really talk about. Alright, that's probably it in my Hilux. Phone charger. Yeah, that's about it. Alright, probably about time got out of here, went and did some fishing. See ya.